Hello everybody and welcome to the NWSL recap of the week. Today we're going to be talking about week match day 3 of 20 here on She Scores Bangers. This weekend kicked off with a lone rivalry on Friday between Portland Thorns and Ola Reign. The Cascadian rivalry was interrupted by a bull riding competition that the CBS decided to air instead of the Portland Thorns game. Once the game made it back on CBS Sports, the fans were in for a very exciting 80 minutes of soccer. During the 90 minutes, we saw one too many shots hit the post and not enough shots end at the back of the net. Unfortunately, it was a scoreless draw, but it was a very, very eventful scoreless draw. Both teams were building great plays, taking shots and pressuring one another. It was a relatively transitional game with plenty of counterattacks for both teams. Unfortunately, the Thorns seemed to lack the final third to finish their attempts. However, we saw great link-up play between Sinclair, Weaver, and Sophia Smith throughout the 90 minutes. Rocky Rodriguez also made her 100th NWSL appearance after being subbed on at the 74th minute. For the Reign, on the other hand, Megan Rapinoe made her first appearance of the season after being out for a significant amount of time. She was able to get just over 20 minutes of playtime. This was obviously after she was subbed on to take a penalty during the Challenge Cup final. This was also Bethany Bolser's 50th appearance with the Reign. Fishlock was also a key player to a lot of the attacks that Reign was building. She was all over the pitch running. Sounds just like Jessie Fishlock. Keeper Tolis Joy had an incredible performance, stopping great shots and being composed as ever. She was eating the Portland Thorns shots for breakfast, lunch, and dinner and showed like it was another day at the office. It is also worth mentioning that Portland had a 13-day layoff because its regular season match was cancelled with the Challenge Cup semi-finalists, whilst Reign, on the other hand, had 4 matches in 13 days with cross-country travel. Therefore, fatigue could have been a very prominent factor in Reign's performance. This really highlights the very inconsistent scheduling that NWSL is known to have. Following this, Saturday saw the postponement between Gotham and North Carolina Courage due to COVID outbreak protocols. Gotham reported 4 unavailable players, the Courage with 7. This was obviously the right call to make, however it was announced slightly late, causing some inconvenience for traveling fans. Yet, it's good to see safety coming first. The rescheduling has still not been announced for this game. Hoping to get their first home win since September of last year, Orlando hosted Kansas City. Kansas City Current are also in a pivotal game to snap a 3-game losing streak. Orlando Pride and Kansas City have already met twice during this year, with Orlando winning both. It was a relatively even first half, with neither team able to score. However, only 6 minutes into the second half, Icelandic international Jons Dutta gave the lead to Orlando in the 51st minute, scoring an incredible goal. Looking to rebound, Kansas made 4 substitutions, bringing in 4 pairs of fresh legs. And only 4 minutes after, were able to get a goal in through Elise Bennett, who has been really great for Kansas this season. It was looking like it was going to be a draw. Both teams were having their own spells of attacks. And then to add a little bit more drama, Hamilton bags in a goal for the Current in the 91st minute. It was crazy scenes. The fans were up on their feet. However, Orlando was not done and were not going to take a loss and was able to secure a penalty in the last shot of the game, taken by Tony Presley, ending the game with a 2-2 score. This was not a terrible result for either team, as Kansas City was able to snap their losing streak, and Orlando showed to be able to pour in great pressure and came very close to the win multiple times. So unfortunately, the microphone decided to take a 2-minute nap as we were recording the video and cuts out for the Houston game recap. However, it does go back to normal when we are discussing the games on Sunday. We apologize for the audio quality in the next portion of the video. On the last game of Saturday night, Houston Dash was able to take away a point from their game against the Racing Louisville. The Dash was looking to put a winning streak together following their win against Kansas City. Louisville, on the other hand, was looking to rebound as they were coming off a draw against the Reign. The opening half portrayed the English international Rachel Daly creating a fair amount of chances for her team. However, the Racing was able to edge them on the amount of possession that they held. Neither team was able to produce a goal, and the first half ended scoreless. The second half saw a significant amount of chances for both teams, as well as 2 important debut substitutions for the Dash. Houston midfielder Emily made her NWSL debut this season in the 72nd minute after coming off as a substitute for Canadian midfielder Sophia Schmidt. The first goal of the game came through Canadian forward Michelle Prince. Leland was able to make a save at the top of the crossbar. However, the ball redirected and was able to find Prince again, who headed the ball past Lund. However, it was not long after Jessica McDonald scored the equalizer late in the second half to get Louisville back on even terms. Houston is expected to face the Thorns next over the weekend, whereas Louisville takes on undefeated expansion team San Diego Wave midweek on Wednesday night. The expansion teams were left to play on Sunday, and they were both coming in hot, gunning for the win. San Diego was facing Chicago Red Stars, and Angel City was set to take on a tough Washington Spirit team. Both teams kicked off at the same time, but let's start with San Diego first. Their string of fine performances continue as they rack up a third win in a row, the only team to have that in the current NWSL season. Abby Dahlkemper was on the bench instead of the starting 11 this time. The first half saw San Diego struggle a little bit to maintain possession. The Red Stars goalkeeper was really only tested once in the 6th minute. Rookie Amira Ali faced an injury 10 minutes before the end of the first half and was replaced by Swedish forward Jakobsen. It was another scoreless first half for the weekend, as neither teams came dangerous enough to take the lead. The Wave, however, came into the second half with another gear, and Alex Morgan was able to score from the penalty spot after a foul was drawn by Jakobsen. Korniak almost sealed the deal 10 minutes later, but her attempt was saved. Morgan took the rebound, but she was offside. The Red Stars were still struggling to find a way through the attack and was not able to get the ball past their half, really missing the presence of Mallory Pugh. The last 10 minutes of the game was filled with drama, as Jill Aguilera did score for the Chicago Red Stars in the 84th minute, but it was called offside. 5 minutes later, defender Kaylee made sure that San Diego was 2 up after a set-piece routine. Some speculated that the goal might have been offside, however, it didn't matter as the goal stood regardless. Celebrations were quick to end thanks to Ava Cook, who had an instant response, scoring her first career goal at professional level. This also marked the first goal that San Diego has conceded in the regular season so far. The final score was a 2-1 victory for San Diego. Alex Morgan joined the club with Sam Kerr to score a goal following a 4-goal effort. Pretty impressive stuff. Moving on to the other game, Washington took a rare loss to Angel City, who secured their first NWSL away win. This was also the first meeting between the two teams. The Los Angeles native Kristen Press was able to place a perfectly finessed ball into the bottom right corner of the goal, assisted by Canadian defender Vanessa Giles. This was the only goal featured in the game, but it was enough for Angel City to capture the win. It is also worth mentioning that forward Tyler Lucy was forced to start at left back, as defender Ali Riley was out due to COVID protocols. This meant she had the hard task, which she didn't find too hard, of defending and marking Trinity Rodman. Along that defensive line, Paige Nelson also made her long-awaited return from injury. This game was really fun to watch as it was filled with plenty of great duels. Many were featuring Rodman in chances as well. However, neither of the attackers were able to equalize. This is how the current standing looks like. I mean, who would have thought that the two expansion teams would be on top? It is obviously still very early on in the season to see who will remain in their position, as the Challenge Cup has just ended. I'm certain that many of the teams are still looking at their mistakes from the Challenge Cup, working on eliminating them and building their rhythm again. I had so much fun watching these games over the weekend, especially on Sunday. It is really great to see the expansion teams gel together after having the opportunity to grow their chemistry. Thank you so much for joining us for our first NWSL recap. Make sure you follow us both on YouTube and Twitter to stay updated and to continue enjoying the beautiful game. I will see you later.